Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah.
The views expressed by J. Michael McCoy are the views of the hosts and guests of Max World Live, and not necessarily the views of Webcast One Live, its staff, its management, the cleaning crew, Dave the electric guy, the guy who cleans the skywalk, the woman who brought in the cookies, the management staff of Hubble Real Estate, the parking lot attendant at Keck Parking, the wait staff over at Miss Kitty's, the coffee crew at Frederick's, the man in the street corner willing to work for food, Rob Spearman, Max Crabb, or anyone else of sound mind. Should you be offended, provoked, intimidated, shocked, confused, or just made to think independently, log on to maxworldlive.com right now. It's your voice we want to hear in Max World. And now, live from the palatial studios of Webcast One Live, your host, J. Michael McCoy.
Thank you very much, Michael Libby. This is Mac, and we are live here in Max World Live. Tom Coates on vacation in... Where was he? Mexico, I think? Yeah, he was going to Mexico for a couple weeks. He'll come back all brown like an Oreo. So,
I don't want to deport himself.
I brought my old nemesis, Bradshaw, in today. What you laugh for?
Oh, I'm just an amusing fellow.
Brought Bradshaw in today, and hopefully he can come back next week, too, because he's gone next week.
I told you, as long as he's not going to sue me, we're good.
No, he's not going to
Threaten to once. That's all I need.
So Bradshaw's in, and if you've never heard a show with Bradshaw and I on it, Wendy, stick around. I think you may like this show. No, it's not View from the Pew. No, it's not Restoring Hope Live. But what Bradshaw and I did for 5 years over on 98.3 is Bradshaw's the perfect... What?
Radio host.
No. What were you?
Human specimen.
You and I together. Were you my foil? Is that we're opposite?
Yes, I will grant you 10 times out of 10.
Are we less than 180, or are we a full 180? And we agree on some stuff.
A few things,
but
few. You're usually wrong, but on a few things you're right.
I love this guy because I've never been able to have a conversation with a progressive or liberal that after the third one didn't end up nasty. I don't know if you know any liberal people, but the first thing they do is they give their opinion. The second thing they do is they just simply tell you you're wrong and you're an idiot and call you a name. And the third thing they do is hang up or walk out or blame it on you and leave. They're not good. See, they're feel-good people. They don't think things through. They just, if it feels good, I want to do it. And heart so many times overrides the mind, not in the long term, but in the short term. So we've picked 3 topics we want to talk about today. We've picked, I don't know if you know, but the city of Des Moines is, no, not the city of Des Moines, the state legislature is considering changing the law so minors, is it any age or just...
19 and 20.
19 and 20. So 19 and 20-year-olds could go into a place that only serves or their main business is alcohol, and they could be in there in those hours. Right now, they have to be done by 9 o'clock. You cannot have a minor in a bar. Well, wait a minute. That changes per city.
Yeah, that's part of the... We'll get to that. But yeah, there's a patchwork.
We're going to talk a little bit about Branstad's gas tax, and is it the time, and is this the place? And then I don't know if we'll do this last or we'll do this right away, but I want to talk about ISIS and the beheadings of these 21 Christian folks. And is it important that we even say Christian? See, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the fact that they're beheading Christians is any worse than their beheading. I don't, anyway, so we're going to talk about that today. Now, before we do that, I do want to remind you, for those of you that are C.S. Lewis fans, the Screw Tape Letters, which is just an amazing book if you've never read it, it is the world through the devil's eyes. There is a New York Broadway theater company, that travels the world and does this play. And they're going to be at C.Y. Stevens Auditorium on April 14th. Tickets are now on sale. If you like the book, you got to go to the play. Now, I will tell you, this is not a play for little kids. In fact, If you don't have that type of engaging conversation with your child to where you're really unpacking stuff with them, this is a scary play. I'll just be honest with you. Now, it's not scary to me, and it probably won't be scary to you, but to someone who is young, in their early teens, it might not make any sense to them, and it may just kind of scare them. And I want this place to sell out because I want these folks to come back again soon. They also do the play, what was the one he did about divorce? C.S. Lewis also did the Divorce Papers. I don't remember. But I'd like them to come back with that play, too. But anyway, April 14th, it's a Tuesday night. C.Y. Stevens. Tickets are still on sale. Call C.Y. Stevens and check it out. You ever read the Screw Tape Letters?
No.
You should. You'd like it. I mean, you like good.
I'm a nonfiction guy. I'm not.
Given where your heart's at, this would be nonfiction. All right, let's start.
Like, the wars and the Trek and that sort of stuff. That's a different story.
Let's start with ISIS. Let's figure out what we agree on first.
The 4chan of the terrorist world.
The who?
4chan.
I don't know what a 4chan is.
I would tell. Don't look it up online. That's all I'll say. You wouldn't like it.
Okay.
But they're the trolls of. They're the internet trolls of terrorism.
All right. What do we agree on? Do we agree that they're horrible?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we agree that they need to be put down at any cost?
You use the word any, then I'm going to say no. Because then you open up giving them exactly what they want, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Does it matter that when you hear that I'm sure you watched the video. I did.
No, I don't watch those.
Okay.
Go for I spent my time on Ogrish years and years ago. I'm done with that stuff.
Okay.
Now I don't need to see it.
I wanted to go through and see what it was, and I watched about 7 or 8 seconds of the actual beheading, and it's just horrific. It is just horrific what these people are doing. Now, you can't see a headline or a story about this without the term Christian inserted there. And that makes me a little uncomfortable. Because what that says to me is that there are people out there who are atheist or don't care about religion or Christianity, whose answer will be, well, good, go ahead and kill the Christians. Go ahead and kill them.
No, I'll throw a flag on that one.
Okay.
Because, I don't think ISIS targets any particular group. I think it is simply binary. Are you one of us? Yes. If not, we don't care. You're another sect. You're just a neighbor we don't happen to like. I think they are willing to kill on film anyone.
All right.
Particularly people who they can get a rise out of. I don't think it's by accident or just, hey, it's just changing times, that all of this stuff is ending up online and all of this stuff is ending up widely disseminated. That is exactly what they want to do.
Okay. So, in other words, what I hear you say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what I hear you saying is they don't think anybody's going to react to it.
They want you to react. That's where the whole internet
emotionally or militarily.
Militarily, they want boots on the ground.
So the fact that Jordan and us and other countries right now are bombing ISIS camps and targets in Iraq and Syria, they're okay with that?
No, I think that's exactly what they don't want. They don't. You can't behead an F-22. You can rain on it and bring it down. But
I see. They want boots on the ground.
They want boots on the ground. They want Iraq War 3.
Okay. And is that where you stop with at all means?
Yes.
So you don't think boots on the ground?
No, I think if we put boots on the ground, we will give them exactly what they want.
All right.
I mean, you want to know how to kill them, by the way. It's not hard. Well, it is hard, but it's not overly complicated.
How do you kill them?
Provide other options. Pull their oxygen out of the room. This goes back to, the New Jack City talk in the 80s. Why are these kids killing each other over crack? because you can sell burgers for $6 an hour, or you can sell baggies for a lot more than $6 an hour. I've never really priced the job market there, but I'm assuming it's more lucrative. So which route are you going to go?
So what should we do then?
I think we beat them with the most powerful force probably the world has ever witnessed, and that is our culture and our consumerism.
Go build a McDonald's in Syria?
Correct me if I'm wrong, and this is maybe just one of those facts that are true on the internet, but no two countries with McDonald's have ever gone to war with one another.
No.
Seriously. Again, it's like remember the werewolf pen?
Yes. Hated the werewolf pen. I never understood it.
I know, because
that's why you kept using it.
Exactly. But the whole point, the situation that leads to your country having a McDonald's in it.
Oh, I see. I see.
And it negates a lot of the selling points of these fundamentalist groups. I mean, we're always going to have poverty. We're always going to have, to some degree, disparity in the quality of life and the creature comforts of civilization. But we can make an effort, again, to starve these types of groups of their oxygen by providing an alternative.
Now, I have to admit, I have not watched any news since. I didn't watch any news last night.
Most of it's terrible. It's completely
But isn't the
understandable.
president saying something like this? Are you just mimicking him? Isn't there some narrative coming out of the progressives that we ought to give them jobs and give them food and give them money and give them medicine?
I would hope that's coming out of the White House, because I think that's the, pardon the term, smart take.
But
I think...
But that's boots on the ground.
No, that's not...
That's potential hostages.
No, again, you don't just go there with the crew and start building a Jack in the Box or a White Castle. As great as those two places are,
is there any McDonald's in Iran?
I don't believe so.
Okay, go ahead.
But man, if you've seen how the Japanese go for KFC, it is.
I know
it's creepy. They do like the cosplay conventions. Everyone's dressed up like the Colonel or Ronald McDonald. It's really.
I know.
I'm assuming it's something radiation related. Anyway, but again, look at. I don't know. Look at how we won
the Cold War.
Yeah, and it wasn't just. We never. We had plenty of really costly and stupid proxy wars, and you back your guy, I'll back my guy. We'll see what happens.
What about?
But that's our true strength. You can't bomb an ideology. You can't destroy, thought.
Right.
I don't care how big your bombs are, or how expensive your jets are, or how many shells you lob over.
And I'm assuming you would say that a nuclear attack is absolutely not acceptable.
No. The nuke their bleep and take their gas. No.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I've heard various dullards of various sorts saying that for going on 25 years now since the first excursion in Iraq.
But we have to. But do you agree to the level that I agree that we really have to do something? We cannot let this become.
That is maybe the most dangerous statement in a Western democracy. We have to do something. It may not be the right thing. It may not be a smart thing. It may not be an effective thing. But darn it, we're going to do something.
We got to do the right thing. We have got, because
you, me, and Spike Lee all agree.
Because now we've got these individual copycat terrorists. We had one in the Netherlands. We had France. We've had some in America. There was that case they foiled from a woman from, Wisconsin, from Canada, who was coming down to, Chicago or something, and going to blow something up.
Again, having groups like nothing new under the sun. We've had groups like this in the past. I think there are some very specific reasons that we are focusing on ISIS, but I hear the music, so I'll stop talking.
I want to hear from you. Come on, Army Brad. 515-244-0077. That's the number to call in. What should we do with ISIS? I'm waiting to hear from you on The Truth, 99.3 FM. Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart, and it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
"21 minutes after the hour, Max World Live. Tom Coates on vacation for the next couple of weeks. Bradshaw sitting in. If you don't know who Bradshaw is, Bradshaw and I were partners for almost 5 years on 98.3 WOW FM. I might just tell you, because I think this is worth mentioning, we were the number one show in the country, went up against Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh is in almost every market in the country. And the show that we put on, which was up against Rush Limbaugh, was the number one show in the country. And I think that's okay to mention. I don't think that's arrogant or boastful. You know, that's professional.
We're not raging misogynists, and we've never had a crippling pill addiction. So we have some advantages built in.
All right. Later on, Bradstead's gas hike is now the time. Gas tax hike. Also, minors in bars. But right now, we're talking about ISIS. And let's go to the Facebook for a second. Larry Sloan says, "Just arm the Christians." Well, aren't they armed over there? Don't they have the right?
Isn't pretty much every? I think seriously, an AK-47 is cheaper than a loaf of bread.
Craig said, "Protect the innocent by helping the good guys kill the bad guys." And Dwayne said, "We need to start backing them." And I'll tell you a little bit more of what they say later. But
Define them.
Huh?
Backing them? Who's them?
Well, they just said them. We need to start arming Christians and backing them. So backing the Christians, which I think we're doing, aren't we? I mean, basically we're dropping bombs and we're fighting these guys on their own territory. And you believe absolutely not no boots on the ground.
No, I think that
will give them hostages.
No, not hostages. I think that would give them the PR and recruitment victory that they're looking for. They want to gain ground.
What does that look like? I mean, that's not physical land and territory, is it?
Yeah, they have physical land and territory.
So what do they want? Do they want Iraq and Syria? I mean, what do they want?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think they want to establish an actual, bizarro version of Islamic State.
And there's no current country that they belong to, right?
No, they're streaming from all over the place.
Okay.
Again, when you have that level of poverty, hopelessness, man, you give people something to believe in, and they'll flock to it. You ask gang members, why do you care so much about the street? Like, it's the only thing I got.
Do you think the president is incorrect in his narrative of never saying Islamic terrorists or Islamic
I think terrorism attacks, I think that's being incredibly pedantic. I think that falls into the if Obama does it, it's wrong.
But don't you think you should call it what it is?
Conservative. Well,
they're
it's
Islamic
terrorism.
And they're terrorists. I mean, we say Irish terrorists if it's a bombing in.
We call those the Troubles.
Ireland. We say South African. I don't know. Let's go to the phones where your friend and mine, the voice, Frank, is on the phone. Hi, Frank. How are you?
Hey, the voice. Listen, Bradshaw and I have been around to this about a dozen times, but our national security interest is fossil fuel, whether you like it or not. And the fact that we went into Iraq was to ensure that we have control of that fossil fuel and not China or Russia. I mean, Kissinger muscled Russia out of the Mideast in the 70s. And, we've given back everything to, it's a free-for-all now. So now you have ISIS grabbing land in these various places, Syria, Iraq, and et cetera. And we got a president that won't let the oil flow through the pipeline. Through the Keystone Pipeline.
Oh, please.
So he wants...
But it's Canadian shale going to the Gulf and places unknown. That's our national security, Frank?
Do you know how much oil England imports? Do you know how much Japan imports? These are our allies. You see, what you guys don't understand is we want the free flow of oil in this country, in this world, and we make friends with despots to keep that oil flow free. And we don't want Russia having control of it, and we don't want China having control of it. So we make friends with these despots, and sometimes we fund the both sides of the same war, and sometimes those people we fund turn and attack us.
I was going to say, how well has that worked out? Did that Shah of Iran investment pay off?
But if you would allow us to go in and assassinate leaders as opposed to going to war with countries and spending trillions of dollars to do it, I think we could probably solve it a whole lot cheaper. But it's your side that wants to handcuff the hands of the CIA from political assassinations.
What do you have to say on that? Don't laugh. That's insulting.
I'm doing it quietly.
See, Bradshaw is one of these guys. He doesn't live in the real world. He likes to drive his car, but he don't understand that how many range wars we fought in this country.
I do understand, Frank, that we are addicted to oil and we will do just about anything to get our fix. And like most addicts, junkies, and users, the decisions we make to acquire that fix are not always in our long-term best behavior.
All right. Listen, Frank, I appreciate you calling very much.
Peace be upon you.
Here's another new friend of yours, Army Brad, live on the radio for Bradshaw.
Dios mío.
How are you? Turn down your radio. Good. Where are you?
I'm in Joplin, Missouri.
Oh,
why?
Because he loves his dog.
That we don't want to bring on the radio probably.
Okay.
So what do you got to say, Brad?
Well, part of what needs to happen is they need to arm the people that are actively fighting the ISIS terrorists in that region. There are people that have been friendly to the United States from the beginning of the first Gulf War through the second Gulf War to today that we continually do not support the way that we should. And yes, they are Muslims, but they were the Kurdish Muslims in the north, and they're the ones that are doing the bulk of the fighting on the ground. They're there. There are Christians that have been there for centuries or millennium, and we need, if they're willing to fight, which hopefully they would be, we need to help them defend themselves, and that would be at least a good initial start. And the Iraqis are unwilling or unable to defend themselves against the terrorists. So go to the people that are willing to and have for decades supported us.
Hey, I'm with those. The Kurds, they are bad mother. Shut your mouth. Now you will have to play a very interesting game of diplomatic footsie with Turkey. And you know, whoever's running Iraq this particular half hour, as far as Kurdish independence. But now, here's something I'm curious about. What's your take on us playing nice with, for example, the Iranian Air Force, who is also attacking ISIS targets?
I think that's bizarre. I think that's the strangest bedfellows I've ever seen.
I think that is a great door opener. We make a convenient foil. When things are going tough on the home front, there is some sort of other group that that we can blame and speak ill of. Again, that's one of those political ploys that have been used since the beginning of time. But if we are working not necessarily alongside the Iranian military, but certainly in the same neighborhood, you have to think that would open up a lot of doors, hearts, and minds in Iran.
Truthfully, I have no problem if our enemy is attacking our enemy, and hopefully they can spend more time and energy to trying to destroy themselves. The one thing that Frank said that was most distressing to me was claiming that China is our friend. I bet a lot of people in China were happy to hear somebody say something like that, because I think while we may not be openly opposed to them, we always need to keep them as the threat that they are. Just the way Russia, as soon as we thought they were our friend, we realized that no, they still are not our friend, and will probably never be. But if we want to, I have no problem with allowing lanes for Iranian planes to cross the Iraqi borders, as long as the Iraqis don't have a problem with it, as long as they're not accidentally dropping those bomb loads on the Kurds and say, "Oh, we were trying to get ISIS," because the Iranians are probably more afraid of the Kurds than they are of ISIS and anybody else. But
does Iraq, and I may be just ignorant when I ask this, but does Iraq actually have a functioning government?
Yes.
Define functioning.
Well, why don't they have the army to go put this ISIS down? They're in their backyard.
With the billions of dollars and now a decade of training that we've given them, you'd think we'd have that, but not so much.
All right, Army Brad.
It has to do with the will to fight, and they don't and never have had the will to fight, which has been a blessing to us, because when we did fight them, we were able to pretty much just walk over the enemy. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, Army Brad, say hi to your little redhead for me.
Absolutely.
Nice to talk to you again. One thing that gets me, I've seen this because I still consume conservative media because I guess I'm a masochist. And
no, that's really where your soul is. You're deep down inside.
No, that's
a Jesus-loving conservative. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I don't insult you. No, there is a unique fascination, and someone with more higher learning degrees than myself should really dig into this. But there is almost a pathological need, and you see how it plays out in the conservative media, and the fear and fire stoking at all times. Like, did you grow up with anyone who had a really just bad childhood? And you feel bad for them, but you'll notice as they grow out of that childhood and go on their own, they find themselves in the middle of chaos. It's where they're comfortable, and they will always go back to it without serious psychological help. That's conservatives in the Cold War. They have to have the enemy just under the gates. If they're just beyond the gates, if they're not being told to hide under the desks. It feels unnatural and uncomfortable for them. They need that psychological comfort of the big, bad enemy. And ISIS, there's people beheading people all over the globe at any given time.
But not on video.
Most of which Americans are blissfully unaware of.
Well, we're not unaware now.
But yeah, these guys want to get your attention. They want to stoke fear, and they want to invoke a ground war. And not that I think there's a high likelihood of a Republican nominee winning the presidency in 2016, maybe in 2024, guys. Hey, if you really ship up your game. But the warmonger side of that party should scare every.
See, I just don't think that exists.
Right,
I think that's a narrative that your side made up. I don't think there's any warmongers out there. I don't see any General Hags or McCain or anybody. Those guys are. You're talking about a party that existed 25, 30 years ago with the first Bush and prior.
I'm sorry. I just on my way in, flipped on 10 minutes of Dr. Michael Savage. And it was all about how we have to do everything, destroy ISIS, and this is how scary they are.
That's the narrative. I don't see anybody in the Congress or the Senate backing that up. All right, we're going to move on. The state of Iowa wants to make a law that says your 19 and 20-year-old can now go into a nightclub or a bar. They can't drink, but they can go there. Is that a good idea? We'll talk about it next on The Truth, 99.3.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
All right, we're back. 22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then Michael Mudloff, Pastor Michael Mudloff from True Blue with Westkirk Presbyterian Church. By the way, Ryan reminded me the other play that this New York Broadway company does that is C.S. Lewis is The Great Divorce. They do a play on The Great Divorce, and they do one on the Screw Tape Letters. And the one on the Screw Tape Letters is coming to C.Y. Stevens in Ames on the 14th of April. And if you've read the book, you got to see the play. If you haven't read the book, this is the world through the devil's eye. Remember the Paul Harvey narrative many, many years ago that said, if I was the devil? If you're an internet person, look that up. Just Google Paul Harvey, if I were the devil. First of all, it'll scare you because it was recorded 40, 50 years ago and it's on target today. But the Screw Tape Letters will give you an idea about C.S. Lewis's image of who the accuser is, who Satan is, who the devil is. And it's a marvelously acted play. It was in Omaha not too long ago, and it was just tremendous. But I will tell you, it's not for kids. It's not for anybody you're not willing to sit down with and unpack what this guy's talking about. So I don't know what that age is. I think about my grandson, who's almost 16 years old. I'm not sure I'd take him, and Luke's a pretty sharp cookie. This is a tough play to see, but I would encourage you to get your tickets and see it. Again, it's April 14th, C.Y. Stevens Auditorium in Ames, Iowa, the Screw Tape Letters.
How does it compare to Oh God, You Devil?
Bradshaw is my co-host today. If you don't know who Bradshaw is, he was my partner on 98.3 for many years. And
back when they actually did talk radio.
Oh, don't get me started. And Bradshaw and I don't agree on much. Now, we actually may find some level of agreement on the next topic. And the next topic is this. The state of Iowa legislature. So this is not Clyde. This is not Johnston. This is not Boone. This is not Fort Dodge. This is not Ankeny, Ames. This is the state which would override any local, county, or city law. Right now in West Des Moines, if you're 19 or 20 years old, you can go into a primarily liquor establishment. Now, why do I say that? Well, of course you can go into Johnny's Hall of Fame. No, I'm sorry, not Johnny. Johnny's Italian Steakhouse, because their primary product is food. And when your sales are 51% of food or more, then minors can be in there during all operations of hours because you're considered a restaurant. But if you're a place, I don't care if you sell cheap burgers or frozen pizzas or, whatever you sell, if the majority of your revenue comes from alcohol sales, a minor cannot be in your establishment after 9 p.m. The state of Iowa legislator would like to change that. Mike McCoy, no relation to me, has put this bill up. I want to know what you think about that. Phone lines are open at 515-244-0077, or you can jump on my Facebook and private message me. So what do you think about that? You're not a minor anymore, are you?
No. It's got pretty, from what I hear, it's bipartisan support. Will it be enough? We'll see. Once the scolds get on board, we'll see how it goes. But
the scolds?
Yeah. Nothing is more important in my life than telling you how to live yours.
Oh, okay.
Those folks. What's up, Bob? No, I think it's for me, if we're, I don't know if you're aware of this, but 19 and 20-year-olds, sometimes even younger, drink alcohol. to a fair, this is why things like Zima existed.
I know. I agree.
And to be honest, it's safer to have them. If it's going to happen, I think it's kind of a wink and a nod, acknowledgement that it's going to occur. And if it's going to, why not in a controlled environment?
Hold on. They're not talking about letting them drink.
I didn't say they're planning on letting them drink. Okay. The drinking age, for some stupid reason, federal highway money, is still 21, given.
Yeah. And what Bradshaw just said is the point. I don't know if you know this, but the government says it's 21 to drink.
Yeah,
It's 18 to vote. It's 18 to go to war. It's 18 to do anything else. But it's 21 to drink. And by the way, Iowa, if you decide you want 18-year-olds to drink, you can do that. That's okay.
Yep.
But billions of dollars in federal highway money for Interstate 80 and 35 would disappear.
Yeah,
and we would be required to keep up those roads to their standards, and it would be horrible.
That's the stick they use. That's why it was. That's how they did the 55 mile per hour speed limit for years and years, and that was eventually done away with. And I hope the 21 drinking age, because anyone who's spent any time going to Iowa State or Iowa, that's basically all they do in Iowa City.
But do we want to encourage that? And Mothers Against Drunk Drivers will just go crazy.
Oh, they'll go crazy no matter what you do. Short of full on blue laws, they're not a fan, and that's fine. That's their gig, and we'll have those debates and arguments, but it's going to happen. It would happen to me. It should happen in a controlled environment. And this really does take me back to the days at Iowa State and all the talk of banning booze and the like. And the root of it, you can ban it, you can police it, you can crack down on it, and all you're going to do is going to push it somewhere else. And if it were me, I would much rather, if the kids are going to go out and maybe, have a few beers because, hey, it's drinking with Lincoln night. Do they even still do that? I don't know. For me, bars have been all downhill since Lumpy's went away. But the point is, rather have them do it in a controlled environment with bouncers, bartenders, security, than in just some house somewhere with red Solo cups and who knows what's in the jungle juice.
I thought we'd agree, but we don't. Here's what Jessica says on chat. Huge, capital letters, huge mistake to allow minors in bars. In fact, they need to raise the drinking age to 25.
What?
Army Brad reminds me that it's 17 to go to war, not 18. In Germany, the legal drinking age is 16. What's magic about 21? Why is 21?
I have no clue.
We give kids 16 is legal. Is when you're no longer a dependent, right?
18. You can drive.
No.
You don't have to go to school after the age of 16.
Well, let me put it this way: in the state of Iowa, if you as an adult male dated a girl who was 16 or over, that's legal. That is not
till Chris Hansen shows up.
But
have a cookie.
That's not illegal like it used to be.
It's not like have a seat over here.
16 is the date of what am I trying to call
age of consent?
Age of consent. Thank you. 16 is the age of consent. So why is it 21? Now, with that being said, minors in bars at any time is a horrible idea, and I would vote against it. And if I had any say-so, which I do, in drinking establishments, we won't allow it. I can tell you right now, we will not allow it. It is trouble and only trouble. And it's trouble down 100 different miles. No.
Well, now, would you do it for a trade-off of we're going to be a little more lenient if we find minors in your bar holding a beer? Because, right now, they drop the hammer on you.
Yeah, it's your liquor license.
Yeah,
or it's your right to
you're
do
going to be
business.
closed for, I always found it hilarious, whether it was, down in Columbia or Iowa City or Ames, and you'd see, as soon as the semester ended, all these bars would close for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they were paying off those minor in possession.
But in the state
tickets.
of Iowa, it's more like 60 to 90 days.
Yeah, so
per effect.
If there was some common sense leniency built into that, kind of, again, the wink, wink, nod, nod, we know it's going to happen, and we much rather, because you guys are the professionals at dealing with the power drunkards and the...
No, I still disagree. Because all you need is one 18-year-old kid to go out there, 19-year-old kid to go out there and kill somebody in a car, driving, not driving, whatever, he's driving the car, he hits somebody driving the car, and he was found in your establishment drinking, and he shouldn't have been drinking.
Boozing it up at a West Des Moines, house kegger?
Yeah. Because it's
not. Then I don't have to deal with it. So go ahead, kids.
Yeah, it's a bad idea for operators, and I'd like to talk to an operator who thinks it's a good idea. All right, when we come back, we'll wrap this conversation up, and we'll continue this conversation here live on The Truth, 99.3 FM.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, trustworthy. It's Amco on Hickman Road in front of Kmart, and it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give Amco on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you. All right, welcome back. 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Many of the listeners on this radio station may find both of us wrong. Because somewhere in the middle of this, and Jessica pointed it out on Facebook, and I appreciate it, somewhere in the middle of this, we're saying drinking is okay. And I can tell you, as a guy who's been sober for 1,744 days, there's nothing good in alcohol. The devil invented this tool. He really did. For those people that can drink it properly, the devil's not involved. The accuser's not involved. If you go out and have a glass of wine with your husband or your wife, or you and your significant other sit at home and have it, that's great. But for people like me, who 1 is too many and 11's not enough, alcohol should be banned. Absolutely banned. I can only begin to tell you what a better world we'd have if we didn't have alcoholism. And I could go on and on and on and on. If you want to know my feeling on that, I'll be glad to call you. I'll be glad to tell you. Listen on Monday to Restoring Hope. There's nothing good about it. But we tried that once in 1920.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Worked out horrible. And it would work out even less today. Well, it didn't work out, but it'd be even horrible. More horrible? Is that a term? Horribler today. But the idea of allowing liquor to be in front of someone 19 and 20 years old and make the establishment. See, all the emphasis is on the establishment. The Mike McCoy, no relation, can make that law up on the State House and then just hand that problem to every liquor license holder in the state of Iowa.
No, devil's in the details, and this is what we're talking about between the breaks. What's in it for bar owners? Hey, we're going to open your doors to people who aren't going to buy your product. Well, why would I want to do that?
Right.
But again, if there was consideration in the bill, and I don't know the details of the legislation, and I doubt it'll go anywhere this year. This is one of those trial balloons that maybe in 3 or 4 years pops up with a lot more added to it. But yeah, I think you have to make a lot of concessions to the establishment owners, and again with the, and not it can't even since it's legislation, it can't be a wink and a nod, but an actual agreement like yes, there will be underage drinking here. We don't, we're not going to do, headstands and celebrate it, or keg stands and celebrate it, or a headstand, keg stand and celebrate it. But we know that it's going to happen, and we're going to find more effective ways of dealing with it than just hitting you guys with a really, really big stick, which is what they do now.
Yeah, there's nothing good. Alcohol, especially in the hands of teenagers and young people, is a horrible, horrible turnout. And the fact that the state of Iowa or any state would tell me that it's my problem.
By the way, happy Mardi Gras.
It's my problem as an operator. They legally, because I'll tell you what, any establishment I have anything to do with, they won't be allowed in. I don't care what the law says. The law doesn't say I have to let them in.
Now, the law may end up saying that.
Well, no, they won't. That
they have every right to be there just like anyone else.
That would be
How would that work with like a 2-drink minimum? I guess you'd have to buy 2 sodas.
That would be a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. I think if that happened, the operators in this state would just come unglued. I really do. I think the hospitality industry in this state would just come unglued. And we've already got lobby people up there telling the legislators that don't do this.
Don't worry, though.
I'll bet you it doesn't
pass. The casinos will
pass.
still find a way out of it.
Yeah, right. I'll bet you it doesn't pass.
It won't pass. This won't pass, but this is one of those, it'll start the ball rolling, and in 3 or 4 years, you'll see a serious bill, and we'll see what's in it then.
If you want 19 and 20-year-olds in a bar, then let them drink. Don't let them in there. That's ridiculous. I can't understand the logic behind somebody who thinks that that's going to be a good time. Bad plan. Branstad's gas tax.
Good plan.
10 cents a gallon.
Overdue.
Do you believe that all that money would go to the roads in the state of Iowa?
Yeah.
All of it. Most of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, it's desperately needed. Our roads and our bridges are in bad shape, and this is a nationwide problem. And again, not to lay it on the feet of the baby boomers, but it is your fault. We have spent it's not just roads, by the way, infrastructure in general, living off the infrastructure built by the silent and greatest generations, and it's very easy to not make it a priority to pay for other things. So we kick the can, and finally that can hits a gas pipe in New York City and explodes. So whether it's old gas lines, water lines, electrical, and the roads and bridges are just the big shiny object because most of us drive a car. But you've got counties that are trying to pick up the tab for this now and just running up crazy debt that they shouldn't have to. And we have structurally deficient bridges that are in use and in limited use that shouldn't be limited as we speak.
What about bicyclists? Iowa is one of the highest per capita bicycle ownership and ridership. In fact, I know this stat. It comes out from the state. If we had bicycle riding all year round, like they do in many Arizona, New Mexico, wherever the warm states would be, we would be the number 1 bicyclist state in the nation. Bikes per capita.
Good. Those are people that are getting off the roads.
They pay nothing.
They're off the roads.
No, we have a bike lane running right down the middle of Ingersoll.
Bikes aren't doing any damage to the roads.
But they're using the roads, don't they? Shouldn't they pay some type of permit or tax for using those same roads?
Nah. I don't think they're.
Such a
you want to encourage those people. Every person that gets out of a car and into a bike.
Why? What do they do for us?
One, less traffic, less pollution.
No, horrible
less
traffic.
Gas use.
Horrible traffic. Horrible traffic. If you don't drive downtown anymore. You got to drive down Ingersoll 4 or 5 months out of the year when there's fighting, and you want to turn. You're going east, and you want to turn right in the bike lane. And
my personal view is that most bicyclists are terrible people, but they're terrible people of their own volition, not because they're bicyclists. They're just horrible people who have to be on bikes and disobey traffic signals and run willy-nilly. That's a different argument. You've heard my rants.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I remember your rants now on bicycles.
I mean, when I used to live down Highway 6, and when it was Ragbri season, and they would get out and train, and all the weekend warriors, and even some of the really serious, they would blow through stop signs, and it would be 2-3 times a week. I'd see someone there at 142nd, and there's a cop, there's an ambulance on the way, because they decided they were going to whip across, and they didn't have to stop, even though, there's cars coming along, and I've barely missed lots of those folks who would just blow through the stop signs. And we built them this nice little bike lane, but they ride in the road, in the turn lanes, and that doesn't turn out well. And then you ask them, why aren't you on this bike lane? They say, oh, well, there's too many people with strollers on it, and they slow us down.
Bradshaw will be back next Tuesday. Until then, do me a favor. Give forgiveness. Offer it, and ye shall be given it. Tomorrow, it's the Timothy Initiative, here live with Bob Devers.